It's weird. It wasn't until after last night's episode of The Flash that I noticed Nora, the future daughter who's been central to this season, didn't show up. Then again, it's not like anyone on Team Flash noticed she was missing at all, so kind of makes you think how important she really is to everyone. So we have the Arrow intro that I believe has Barry Allen narrating about being in prison and so forth and joining up with the government. I was half paying attention at the last second. I think, oh wait, no, that's Barry in Green Arrow. Anyway, so we get a recap of the events of The Flash, and then we jump to Deathstroke fighting some Argus agents, and Diggle is narrowly saved by the 1-2-3 punch of Supergirl, Flash, Oliver, and Barry. And they update him, and I believe Mr. Terrific, though he's not in his costume, about the situation. And there is kind of a funny moment when Felicity walks in. Felicity is apparently married to Ollie, but of course, switching, they don't want to tell her because of how things happened with Team Flash, although it seems Diggle and Mr. Terrific seemed pretty okay with everything, given all the weirdness they experienced, even referencing the previous crossovers. So they decide they need to go to Gotham. Kara flies Barry there, and Ollie eventually catches up with his super speed, still getting the hang of it. So Barry and Ollie disagree on whether Batman exists, because, they're going to Gotham. Ollie thinks he's a myth cooked up by the Gotham police. And when they get there, Barry reveals, the bat signal! Still think he's a myth? Yes. It's kind of funny. So while they think they might be able to get a lead with a woman named Vesper Fairchild, we pan back and see Batwoman still standing on top of a building. Kind of makes you wonder if she actually fights any crime. So they get into some civilian clothes, and eventually they get mugged. And they decide, well, we're going to take these muggers out ourselves. And then the cops show up real quickly, oddly enough, for a mugging that just happened. But anyway, because Oliver Queen is a well-known vigilante, they get arrested and they're held for a while until they are bailed out by someone. Meanwhile, Cisco and Caitlin show up at Argus, and they note how the red skies and lightning that were in Central City are now in Star City. Like it's following Barry and Ollie. And there's this humorous slip of the tongue about them switching bodies when Felicity is around, because they didn't tell her. So our three superheroes are taken to a Wayne building where a woman tells them that because, Ollie's there, she's like, don't come around here trying to compare Batarangs with Batman, because Batman hasn't been around for a while. No one knows where he went, and not quite a surprise, it's Kate Kane they're meeting. And, well, there's more shenanigans at Argus with Caitlin trying to console Felicity about not noticing anything different, like Iris did. Okay, it's just more relationship stuff before they really get into how the whole, maybe we can use some quantum science words to figure this out. It's, standard sci-fi talk about quantum this and so forth, about trying to build something to get closer to the core of the mystery and find out why these two switched. So anyway, while Kate Kane lets the three heroes convene on a roof, Kara notes that it's weird Bruce Wayne and Batman haven't been around, and they left around the same time, because, you gotta throw in those hints on all in there. They find John Deegan, the guy that got the book from the Monitor, and Kara goes to change into her work clothes, which honestly she could have done at super speed on the roof, but no, she goes to talk to Kate for a while, and they have an exchange about, well, Kate is Bruce's cousin, and Kara mentions, oh, my cousin's friends with Bruce. Frenemies, which I'm iffy about for several reasons. We get a reference to the Shakespeare bus from the 66 series. Kate mentions that Dr. Deegan, the guy they're looking for, is a doctor at Arkham, so Kara leaves to tell the other two, while Kate does a dramatic reveal of the Batcave and her Batwoman costume. Felicity's science thingy briefly opens up a portal where we see the John Wesley-Shipp Flash, who tells them to find the book, though there's some interference, and then he just disappears. And it's kind of like that moment in Batman v Superman, only it's not totally surrounding a nonsensical story. So the revelation that the red skies and lightning were the result of a Flash from another universe trying to contact them and telling them to find a book and so forth is relayed to Barry, Ollie, and Kara. And they know that their next step is to go to Arkham, where Caitlin's going to be admitted because of, her ice powers. Diggle and Oliver go through a hallway where we get references to various Arkham villains, Clayface, Riddler, Joker, etc., until they come upon Deegan's office. And he recognizes Oliver Queen as Oliver Queen, and which is kind of sloppy, even more sloppy when he admits to having altered reality. He creates a distraction, gets away, and then releases the Arkham inmates, as one does. Diggle more or less deals with the inmates himself, at least a large group of them, and a whole bunch of other escapees leave the building proper, and they're crazy because they're hopping on the banisters and so forth. It's because they're crazy and they're escaping, but they're crazy, so they're taking time to jump around like little chimps. But they're stopped by Barry as the Green Arrow. But Psycho Pirate gets the drop on Barry, knocking him out. And Cisco is with him at the time. He's like, and he turns and backs off, and then gets hit in the back with a van. I'm like, I don't think he's walking after that. That's kind of a huge hit to take. And you'd think he'd have seen the van, but I guess not. And so Psycho Pirate's about to drive away until Batwoman drops on top of the van, I think maybe evoking the Dark Knight, and takes them out, takes out a couple of inmates, as Cisco manages to get up without spinal problems. And for some reason she says, Kate Kane told you to get out of Gotham, you should have listened. And you should know better than to suggest you have a connection to your secret identity. Supergirl is searching for the book, can't find it, until Deegan takes this huge chunk of wall out and gets the book. But, fortunately, Kara super breaths him to the ground, grabs the book, but he escapes a young woman who has super hearing and super sight and X-ray vision and so forth, and this is just one of those things with the CW superhero shows. The heroes sometimes forget what they can do with their powers. Anyway, so Flash and Green Arrow go to backup's Killer Frost, who's facing a woman that is an inmate that goes for Victor Freeze's gun, and it knocks Killer Frost back. Which kind of doesn't make sense, because Killer Frost, cold? Why would Mr. Freeze's gun hurt her? I don't know. Ollie tries a lightning throw which doesn't work. The inmate gets away, and it knocks over some vials of Jonathan Crane's fear toxin. And he sees a vision of Reverse Flash, while Barry sees a vision of, what's-his-face, the evil Archer. I don't watch Arrow. Merlin! That was it. Anyway, turns out Barry and Ollie see each other as their other... So Barry sees Ollie as Merlin. Ollie sees Barry as Reverse Flash, and they're fighting each other. And there is this really neat moment where the camera kind of pans in and out, and at first it's the two heroes fighting each other, then it's like Barry fighting Merlin, and then it's, Ollie fighting Reverse Flash, and it's done fairly well until Batwoman comes in and basically knocks them both out, and then tells Caitlin that they've been exposed to a hallucinogen, and next scene they're fine. I guess it's just that easy. A little head trauma and telling their friend that it was fear gas. Okay. Ollie explains to everyone that Deegan said he used the book to alter the world, and now they want to try and figure out a way to unalter it. And Batwoman is just happy they're getting out of Gotham. Everyone leaves except Kara, who basically reveals that she used her X-ray vision to find out Batwoman was Kate Kane, and, of course, Batwoman knows it's Kara Danvers. Handshake, see you later. They go back to Argus, decide to science the book open, while Barry and Ollie talk about what they experienced and compliment each other's strength of will or whatever. And Barry gives Ollie some advice on his relationship with Felicity, and they reconcile or something. I don't know. Maybe there was... I don't watch Arrow, so I don't know whatever stuff they were going through. But anyway, they start making out, Ollie and Felicity, and that's when Ship Flash arrives. Kind of mood killer, but, well, he's there to tell them that the Monitor wrecked his Earth because he's testing Earths for what he believes is an impending crisis. And that's when the Monitor shows up. And so, Ollie Flash, Wesley-Shipp Flash, Supergirl, and Barry Arrow. Barrow? Anyway, they all go to confront the Monitor, and he displays his power by just moving his finger, and Wesley-Shipp Flash is gone. Probably not dead. Hopefully not dead. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that when he arrived at Argus, Wesley-Shipp Flash recognized John Diggle and said he didn't have his ring. So, little hint, it's Jon Stewart, and Jon Stewart will be played by the same actor. Ooh. I don't know, I'm getting wacky with this. Anyway, so after they confront the Monitor, he makes Ship go away, and he gets the book back while saying that, after saying that he's looking for champions to face the crisis. The crisis is going to be started by someone more powerful than he is. And, hey, Flash and Supergirl and Arrow, they did a good job. So, but, he takes the book back, takes it back to Deegan, and says, this time, think bigger. And so what he does is, after one more reality change, Barry and Ollie are in an alley, and they're the Trigger Twins. Another couple of characters that I'm not familiar with. I think they were in Nightwing several years ago, back like in the late 90s, I want to say. But I didn't exactly follow the characters. They encounter some police, but they get away, and then they encounter Superman, who's in an all-black costume, except for the silver trim on the S. So this was not a bad continuation. Batwoman was fine, didn't really have a problem with her. They didn't really specify why Batman disappeared, though I imagine when the Batwoman series pops up, that may well be a central theme. So we got one more part to go, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night, folks.